Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going somewhere really interesting, deep into the book of Psalms.
Yeah, specifically Psalm 59.
Exactly. Psalm 59, it's this incredibly raw, powerful prayer from King David. Comes straight out of, well, intense fear and serious opposition.
Real danger.
Right. Picture this. David, the guy chosen to be the next king, he's literally being hunted down. Saul, the current king, has sent guys to watch his house.
Waiting to kill him in the morning. It's pretty grim.
It really is. And this psalm, it isn't just, ancient history. It gives us this amazing insight into how maybe we can handle intense fear, opposition, hostility.
Things we still face today, even if it's not, assassins at the door.
For sure. So our mission today is to sort of pull out those timeless lessons from David's nightmare, really, and see how they can genuinely strengthen your trust, your relationship with God right now in this modern world.
Yeah, how does this ancient cry speak to us?
Okay, let's unpack this. So to really get it, we have to put ourselves there, in David's shoes. The very first bit, the superscription, it tells us the situation straight up. Okay. When Saul sent, and they watched the house to kill him.
And that context is just crucial. It's not just danger, it's betrayal, it's injustice. This is the king he served faithfully.
Yeah, he's not a rebel or anything. He's the anointed one. And he's being hunted by his own king. So this prayer, it's not coming from like a quiet study.
No, it's forged in the heat of the moment, shadow of death stuff.
Absolutely. And his first plea is just so direct, almost raw. Deliver me from mine enemies, oh my God.
Yeah.
Defend me from them that rise up against me.
No messing around. He calls them workers of iniquity, bloody men. He sees the malice there.
He really does.
Yeah.
But then there's this critical point he makes almost immediately.
Yes. The not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Lord. That's huge.
Why is that so important?
Well, he's basically saying, this isn't my fault. He's not asking for forgiveness here. He's pleading for justice because he's innocent in this specific conflict. Yeah. And in that ancient worldview, justice was fundamental. God upholds justice. So an innocent person under attack like this, that's an offense against the divine order itself.
So he's appealing directly to God's character as a righteous judge.
Exactly. It makes his plea for God to step in even stronger. He's counting on God being just.
And the way he describes these enemies, wow, it's so vivid you can almost feel the fear.
Yeah, that line, they return at evening, they make a noise like a dog and go round about the city.
Like snarling, circling predators outside. Chilling.
But then there's that other image, even more intense perhaps.
Behold, they belch out with their mouth. Swords are in their lips. What does that even mean? It sounds like more than just insults.
Oh, it absolutely is. Swords in their lips, that taps into this ancient idea that words have real power, almost like a physical weapon.
Okay.
It's not just trash talk. It's verbal violence meant to cut deep, to condemn, maybe even curse him, undermine his standing, his very being. Yep. And this brings us to a really key piece of ancient wisdom in the psalm. The power of just being honest. Raw expression before God.
He doesn't hold back.
Not at all. He lays out the fear, the anger, the injustice, all of it, graphically, authentically. And that kind of honest outpouring of both the terror and the hope simmering underneath, that's a vital way to cope, to find some clarity.
So it's like a model for us, for how we can talk about our own struggles without trying to pretty them up.
Precisely. It's about authentic connection.
Okay, so he's pouring out this fear, describing these attackers, but then something shifts, right in the middle of all this terror.
Yes, there's this amazing pivot. He goes from describing the enemies to declaring God's power over them.
But thou, O Lord, shalt laugh at them. Thou shalt have all the heathen in derision. It's bold.
Incredibly bold. And then he states it plainly. God is my defense. It's this defiant trust, even with enemies literally outside.
So it's not just hoping God will save him. It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's a core point for strengthening your trust. David believes God won't just protect him, but will ultimately judge the wicked fairly. Bring justice.
Right.
And that fundamental trust in God's justice, his ultimate power, even when things look absolutely hopeless, that's what lets him move from just begging for help to this deep confidence.
He knows who's really in charge, despite the immediate threat.
Exactly. The danger is real, but God's power in David's mind is more real. It's ultimate. And trusting that gives him the strength to hang on.
And this trust, it leads to something pretty extraordinary in his response.
Yeah.
The men are still there. The threat hasn't vanished.
But he declares, "But I will sing of thy power. Yea, I will sing aloud of thy mercy in the morning, for thou hast been my defense and refuge in the day of my trouble."
He's going to sing now. It seems almost premature.
It's an astonishing leap of faith, isn't it? It's praise before the deliverance, anticipatory praise.
He's singing in expectation of being rescued, not after.
That's it. And that act of choosing praise, choosing to align himself with God's victory while still in danger, that's incredibly powerful. It shapes his perspective, his reality.
Wow.
And that's where this ancient psalm just jumps across the centuries and becomes so relevant for us right now.
Okay, so let's bridge that gap. How does this journey from sheer terror to solid confidence ending in praise, what does that mean for us today?
Right, because our enemies, quote unquote, usually look different.
Yeah, maybe it's crushing work pressure or money problems that feel like they're closing in or really difficult people or even just that inner voice of doubt.
Or critics whose words feel like those swords in their lips. We all face opposition.
So how do we apply David's response?
Well, first, just like David turned to God, his ultimate strength, we can consciously turn to our sources of strength when things get tough.
Which might be faith, prayer, reading scripture for some.
Absolutely. Or it could be leaning on your community, trusted friends, family, mentors, people who offer real support, practical or emotional.
Or maybe even just building personal resilience, like through mindfulness or self-care.
Exactly. The key is actively seeking that support, whether it's God, people, or inner resources. That act of reaching out, that's an act of trust in itself. It deepens the connection. It's not passive.
Okay. And what about dealing with the opposition itself? David seemed to acknowledge it head on.
Yes, the psalm teaches us something about recognizing and, in a way, preparing for opposition, not living in constant fear, but understanding that challenges, critics, obstacles, they often show up.
Knowing it might happen helps you face it differently.
Right. You can be more strategic, less reactive. Maybe it means setting boundaries, getting good advice, or just accepting that not everyone's going to cheer you on. It helps you navigate it without letting it derail you completely.
That makes sense. And David's trust in justice seems central too.
Hugely central. For us, holding on to that belief that wrongs will ultimately be righted, that there is fairness, even if we don't see it immediately or perfectly, that's vital for our own mental and spiritual health.
How does that affect our trust in God?
It allows you to trust that God is just, even when circumstances scream otherwise. It lets you endure tough times without falling into bitterness or cynicism because you know the ultimate justice isn't solely on your shoulders.
And I keep coming back to how honest David was, just laying it all bare.
Yeah, that raw expression. How can you do that? Maybe it's gut-honest prayer. Maybe it's journaling those fears without censoring. Maybe it's really opening up to a trusted friend or therapist.
That vulnerability, it's crucial
Yeah.
for connection, right?
Absolutely. It builds intimacy with God, with others. It's about being real, not just saying the right things.
Okay, and finally that shift to praise, even while waiting.
Yes, celebrating the wins, big ones, small ones, remembering those moments of protection or success, times God did come through, even in small ways.
How does that help?
It builds gratitude, reinforces confidence. When you consciously remember and celebrate God's faithfulness in the past, it strengthens your trust for the future. It deepens that relationship.
So the relationship isn't just about asking.
No, David shows us it's the whole package. Honest struggle, trusting God's character through thick and thin, and actively remembering and celebrating his goodness. That constant turning to God, in fear and in praise, that's what builds real intimacy and trust.
So wrapping this up, Psalm 59 is this powerful reminder, isn't it? That yes, challenges and opposition are real, they're part of life, but David's ancient wisdom gives us a path. Seek protection spiritually, practically build those support systems, hold on to trust and justice.
And be gut-wrenchingly honest with your fears.
Right. While also choosing hope, choosing gratitude, remembering the strength that sees you through.
Yeah, just like David, our walk with God, it involves all of it. Vulnerability, relying on him, and ultimately praising him for his love and protection that never fails. It's a living, breathing relationship.
So thinking about David's story, these lessons, what does this all mean for you? How will you apply this information in your life?